All right, greetings, Shape and Sound community. It is I, Ben Pulowski, giving you the news updates, etc., of the week of January 10th. So let's get into it. All right, so we'll start off with sort of some news items. I thought for our news items this week, we would look at some art created in response to the coronavirus pandemic. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of different artists doing different things. This is just a small collection of it. I encourage anyone to check out some more. But these are some questions to maybe think about when you're looking at some of this art. How does art function during difficult times? How do artists react to current events? How has the process of making and showing art changed during this time? And what is the intention of the artist in these pieces? So, just some things to think about. There's not necessarily one specific right answer for any of these, but just some interesting ways to look at these. Here's a piece, Social Distancing in the Mission by Jennifer M. Potter. I'm tempted to give my reaction to these, but I want you to all think about these for yourself. Distancing Bench by Kimberly A. Keltzer. Here's a little excerpt from a diary, right? And here's what the artist says kind of about their work. I've been creating semi-regular illustrated diary pages both for myself and my community. It's been helpful to process and acknowledge the wide range of emotions that comes from such an absurd situation. The silliness of partners, roommates, the uncertainty and fear, and day-to-day moments. Here's some graffiti in response to it. Yes, that mine shots does translate to my precious, in case you were wondering. If you want to do your best Gollum impression in German, go for it. Some more graffiti. Some more graffiti in India. More graffiti by an artist that uses the pseudonym Fake. It's funny that their fake name is Fake. It's probably a little inside joke to them in some way. The Saints Wear White, an interesting sort of installation piece by artist Duyi Han. Here's an interesting glass sculpture modeled after what the coronavirus looks like. Hands there for a little concept of scale. Here's an interesting artist that I really like, Elise Engler. She does this series of paintings where she does a painting every day. She wakes up, turns on the radio, and whatever the first story is that she hears of the day, or maybe it's multiple stories that she hears over the course of the morning, and she puts them into a painting. And she's been doing this, at this point of December 21st, from this piece, it was 1,857 days. So my very loose estimate of how long that is, it's about 5 years that she's been doing that project. A little bit longer, perhaps. And there are some sources from those. All right. Next, to get into what we are up to this week, looking at our calendar. Okay, we've got on Tuesday, we're going to do one of our watch parties where we're just going to be watching music videos. I know for myself, music videos were kind of a big part of my teenage years. I spent a lot of time watching them. Perhaps I've been influenced by them a lot. I like that they're this interesting mix of, shape and sound, just like our school. The way the visual and the musical meets together. So we'll be looking at a variety of music videos. I invite you to come along. If you have a music video you like, seek it out on the internet so you have a link that we can share and we can watch together. I'm not sure how many music videos we'll get to, but I'm starting to put a list together. I'm not saying we're going to watch all of these necessarily. We might watch other ones. I'm trying to get a good mix of things that I liked when I was younger and newer videos as well. So yeah, that should be a lot of fun. If you can see on Wednesday, we're going to continue our digital art series. The part one of that, there is a video that I sent out to everyone. If you need that link and you can't find it, let me know and I'll send that out to you. But last week, we worked on doing some digital editing. This was kind of my example that I was working through. Just kind of playing around with how we can manipulate an image in fun, interesting, and very odd ways. So we're going to continue that. We might add on to this project where we were manipulating a portrait of someone, but we might also get into a new project where we're going to attempt, we'll see how it goes, to do a hybrid of a living creature and a non-living object. We'll see how that goes. And let's see, that's kind of it for this week. Oh, and I need you all to start scheduling your one-on-one appointments so I can kind of talk with you all and see what you have been up to. This week's artist spotlight is Barbara Kruger. Barbara Kruger is a conceptual artist and collagist who does a lot of work with text. Sometimes it is text all on its own, but oftentimes it is accompanied with a black and white photograph. She works with the same font almost all of the time and works very selectively with a specific color scheme, black, red, and white. Occasionally you will see other colors, but it's mostly those three. She has been doing this work for a couple of decades at this point, but before she got real successful as a fine artist, she was doing magazine layout work for a variety of publications. These two examples here are actually from later on in her career when she was a more established artist. I could not find any work from when she was doing this earlier on. But yeah, she worked for a variety of magazines. You can see a connection to her style as a fine artist as well. This was one of her earliest well-known works, Your Body is a Battleground. It was originally used as a flyer for the Women's March on Washington in 1989 and is now a common symbol for fighting for women's rights. But she's been doing this kind of work for a long time. This is a collage from 1984. She would often find these images in magazines at the library and just make a black and white copy. Part of her reason for working in black and white and red is she didn't have a lot of money to print in color. This work, I Shop Therefore I Am, is also a well-known work that I'm going to reference a little bit later. She continued doing these word-image combinations for a long time. There's a quick example of when she did use another color, obviously referencing the American flag. But yeah, then she eventually started working into these large-scale just word installations. This one was at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles. It was actually reprised again in 2018, I believe, right around the midterm elections. This seems to be where she's mostly working in more recent times. This one's 2012 in Washington, D.C. at the Hirshhorn. I actually saw this one in person. It is really cool to see her work in person, just kind of be surrounded by those words. I highly recommend it if you can make it happen. Skate Park in New York, Gallery in Berlin, so you can see a little bit of her international success as well. And here's my kind of quick take on her as an artist. I do really love how she's established this kind of iconic look for her work. With just 3 colors and a font, she's created a body of work that's immediately recognizable. And I do like the way she challenges viewers with very specific confrontational questions. All right, I sometimes have mixed feelings about the commercialization of her work. For example, the piece I Shop Therefore I Am. I don't know, maybe it's put on things in an ironic way, but I think the message is often lost on people. It's cool that her message is getting out there more, but just, yeah, again, mixed feelings, not exactly sure how I feel about it. And yeah, definitely what I wish I knew is what she was up to next. She seems like she keeps going bigger and bigger, and I don't know how much bigger she can go. And that is Barbara Kruger. And that is all for now. Thank you, and keep making art.